Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Yarn Dispensary Podcast. Despite much finagling before we started recording, I have once again managed to record speaker view only. Third time's the charm. Wish us luck. Okay, hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Yarn Dispensary Podcast. I'm Gemma.
I'm Linda.
I'm Vic.
I'm Rose.
And we are most of Team Yarn Dispensary. We work, run, play, practically live pre-COVID times in the Yarn Dispensary shop in a lovely medieval market town called Faversham in the heart of Kent. And with lockdown, we thought we would finally realise our ambition and become YouTubers, and wow, has it blown us away. At the time of recording, we've almost had 4,000 views of our very first podcast, complete with technical glitches and change of scenes, and we've got almost 400 subscribers, which is just bonkers. It totally blows my mind, blows all of our minds, I'm sure, that many of you would want to come back again and sit with us and have another crafty chat. But you are very, very welcome. If you're trying out the podcast for the first time, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. We hope that we're going to be increasingly more professionals, probably not the right word.
No.
Right, so I'm going to put all where you can find us down below. So Linda, you do a lot of crochet, don't you?
I do.
She is Linda's Yarn Therapy. She's also a designer and tech editor, so if you need any tech editing done for crochet, she's your girl. Roz is technical everythinger extraordinaire, the fiddly the better. Vic is highly irritating and just produces garments out of thin air and has a ridiculous number of finished objects, so I'm currently not talking to Vic. I'm a starter, not a finisher, and you might also recognise me from the Project Bag and Midnight Diary podcasts. If you are looking for those, you'll find them on my channel, but honestly stay here for a bit because this is really good fun. We have a brilliant time, don't we, guys?
We sure do.
So let's start with what we are wearing, because we are all wearing woolly goodness. Let's start with Linda. Do you want to go first?
Yep, I am wearing my shawl, which is called Humbug and is absolutely beautiful. And it's designed by Anna Nikoporovich, and it's made in the scrumptious Midnight Diary yarn called Humbug, which is wonderful. And it was actually from Gemma's Christmas Eve box from the Midnight Diary, so it's taken me a while to get around to making it, but I'm sure glad I have, because it's really warm and it's very comfy and it's very pretty. It's a bit of lace, a little bit of plain crochet, and nice and easy to do, and doesn't take very long. So it's a lovely one to do if anybody wants to find that one. You can find it online, so it's very nice. So that's good. So that's what I'm wearing. So who's next?
Well, I'll go next. I'm wearing a garment, but don't be fooled. It ain't mine. I didn't knit it. Typically, if I'm wearing a garment, either my mum knit it or I bought it off someone else. And this is one that I did buy from someone else. This is, I'm going to move you back. Here we go. This
So
is
pretty.
the Lolly Stick jumper by, I believe it's by Julie Knits in Paris, Julie Devereux. And it was knit by Verity, aka Truly Hooked, in her hand-dyed yarns. So we've got Kraken, which is just gorgeous blues and greens and speckles of yellow. I can't remember what the purple that goes here is, but this is my all-time favourite pickled cabbage. I love pickled cabbage. This looks like brioche, but it isn't. And it has this lovely effect on your waistline as well. And it's finished with an I-cord bind-off, which I think is fabulous. Vic?
Me, hello. I have got an actual finished object. It's the, what did I say it was called? Close to You shawl by Justina Larkowska. I just said that earlier. In the Fairy Wings by, is it Hyperspace? Yeah. But it's got this.
Hyperspace, yeah.
Yeah, you start at the point. You sort of cast on the border. Where's the camera? There's the camera. Cast on the border and you do it all in one go. You don't have to pick up and do it. It takes about 2 skeins, but it's a really quick one, and it's really pretty.
It is very pretty.
It's ticking all of my boxes so far, and it's very warm. So
Yeah,
I'm very similar.
mulberry silk, isn't it, in the Fibre Space Fairy Wings? Yeah. Jumper?
Jumper, yes, I'm wearing a jumper. I don't have anything particularly intellectual to say about it, because it's stash yarn and a stash pattern that they found in amongst a load of other patterns, and it's just a really simple raglan jumper. I did put a tubular cast on it to pretend that I know what I'm doing, but you can tell it's stash yarn because I ran out of yarn to do the sleeves, so I had to use a different color of yarn. It was the same yarn but a different color, but it fits me. So I've got that going for me.
It's a bit more exciting than that, though, isn't it? Because it was actually kind of like a family recipe, a scribbled down pattern on a piece of paper you found in an attic.
On a bit of paper in amongst a load of other patterns in a pattern folder. And I was just like, well, I'll give it a go. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just have to unravel it. But it does work. So that's rather satisfying.
It's fabulous. Roz has got a rather fantabulous finished object.
This is the Enchanted Mesa from the genius that is Stephen West. I did change it around a little bit. I did it according to the pattern down to the end of the stripy bit, and then changed the colours around a bit. But yeah, pretty much. It's a reasonably ambitious knit, but it's quite forgiving. And I'm kind of thinking I might make it a little bit longer, because these strange sleeves, it's comfy, but they do lift it up a bit. But because it's knitted downhill, I think I might add a few more centimeters at the bottom. But very cozy. I've been referring to it as my wonky sweater, but its proper name is the Enchanted Mesa. And I love it. It's just a slightly different knit. It's made out of the Rowan felted tweed entirely, so it's not the sort of stash bust it could be. But we have all those colours in the shop, and it's lovely yarn. So
it's really soft, isn't it? When
one.
you think of felt and tweed, you don't necessarily think next to skin softness, but it is a really nice soft yarn.
Yeah.
How did you find the sleeves? Because the sleeves on this pattern, they're not there, are they? They're like there.
You knit. Oh, sorry, my thing's going the other direction. You knit this section here, so you end up at quite an angle, and so you start the blue sleeve here when you finished this colourful section, and then you knit the rest of it. Sorry, my camera's the other way around, so I'm going the wrong direction. So you knit this section. It's almost straight, but it seems to go into an angle. And then you do some short row shaping in the, sorry, I'm on my tiptoes now, I might just move the camera. You straighten it up by doing a short row section in the green. Can you see it's green?
Yeah, you can.
And then it's here. And initially I'd put a garter stitch edge on, but I didn't like it very much. So, and I thought, I know Stephen West likes a, what do you call it? Oh, I've gone and forgotten the word.
I-cord?
Yeah, that's the one. And I had garter stitch edges here too, but I put I-cords.
Yeah.
On the edges of everything.
I love it.
But he does always encourage people to change things around a bit anyway, doesn't he? So, but yeah, it does. It's a bit of a strange garment, but actually, this is the first time I've had it on for any length of time, and yeah, I think I like it.
It's very, very beautiful, and that takes me nicely onto sharing some admin with you. So a quick note at the top of the episode, which I forgot to mention, which I should have done, is that this is a very special episode because we have footage of lambs from one of our single flock yarns from Longcroft. So at some point I'm going to like pass over, probably in a minute, pass over and let you watch some lambs, and then you can come back and listen to us witter on again for a while. Rosie's finished Enchanted Mesa by Stephen West. Brings me on to talking about our make along. We are hosting our very first make along called the Not a Mystery Along. Everyone is welcome to take part. To qualify for prizes, though, you need to have either bought an Anna Nikiforovich or Stephen West pattern from the relevant section on our website. These aren't digital downloads. These are physical, beautifully presented patterns that we will send out to you, or a skein of yarn or something to go along with stuff you're using in stash to go with a Stephen West or Anna Nikiforovich pattern. So it's open to knit and crochet. And then, so that gives you an entry. Joining in and chatting in the Friends of the Yarn Dispensary Facebook group. We are using Facebook for this because although lots of people do use Ravelry, we are aware that it is not currently accessible to everyone. So we want to make this as inclusive as possible. And we also know not everyone's on Instagram. So we decided to do it in the Facebook group because, you know, that old chestnut, we're all familiar with Facebook. So get in there, chat, join in the chatter thread. That will give you an entry. And of course, if you finish, then you get a third entry. I've decided that we're going to extend this. It's going to run through April at least so far. So there's still plenty of time for you to join in. Some of us are doing it, aren't they? So you've joined in with your Enchanted Mesa. So Ros has already finished. Get used to this, folks, because this is what happens.
I've done an Anna.
You come up with an idea and Ros has finished it 3 weeks ago. You know, before you even finish the sentence, it's done. Yeah. Linda's is an Anna pattern as well.
Yeah, I've also got another Anna shawl as well that I've done, which I'll bring her along next time we do it.
Oh yeah,
a beaded one, so it's a really pretty one.
Oh, beautiful! Someone's actually purchased that for the make along.
They have, yeah. That's why I thought I'd bring it along. I've got there's one in the shop that I've done, but I've also got one here that I've done as well. So yeah.
So we'll show those off next time as well. Yeah, we're just joining in for kicks, aren't we, really? And just to take part and have fun, obviously. More news, talking about make-alongs, is that we are actually joining in with Vicky Bird Designs Marathon Sock Cowl that kicks off on the 1st of April. It's a collaborative effort to knit a marathon's worth of socks.
Oh.
So I've looked it up. It's 1,600 and something meters to the mile. And obviously a marathon is 26 point something miles. Do you love the specificity here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Very scientific. So looking at that, you know, it's like 4 pairs of socks to a mile, but everyone who joins in, their socks count towards your cumulative total. Last year, second socks counted. So if you already had a sock before April 1st and you wanted to knit the second sock did count. So we are joining in with this to just see how many socks we can knit in April or crochet. Some of us anyway are joining in with it, but we, as the Yarn Dispensary, are donating a prize package for this make along. So there will be a fabulous sock knitting crochet bundle going off to Vicky Bird of Vicky Bird Designs. She's a fantastic designer. She does lots of intarsia, lots of great patterns for kids. Homewares. I've just recently purchased is it a Monstera leaf? Nodding. Pattern, intarsia pattern, which I'm absolutely terrified of because intarsia just defeats me. I could do all sorts of things, but having lots of balls flying around everywhere and I get holes where I don't want holes and I can't control my balls, it's just a nightmare. So I'm going to give that a go, but and it's not socks, so it's irrelevant. But we will be donating a package of different sock yarns, special sock needles, a pattern book or two to Vicky Bird's Make Along. So do, if you're not following her already, go and check that out. She'll be linked just down there. We're personally quite excited because we are talking about having designs from Vicky and possibly even a special birthday commission for our 7th birthday this year, or 6th? 7th.
Seventh.
We missed our 6th, haven't we? Yeah, our 7th birthday this year. So do go and check her out. Right, that's all the admin done. That's us wittering. We've talked to you a bit. Shall we cut to lambs and then come back? Because you've listened to us for a while. Go and look at the lambs. They're gorgeous. See you in a bit.
Morning. This is the Accidental Shepherdess lambing live. This is day 2 of lambing. Thought I'd show you Lottie. Now Lottie actually had her babies yesterday afternoon, and as you can see, that is, the big one is an enormous ram lamb. He is massive, and look at him in comparison to the dainty little girl. She's so small. That boy is a keeper. He is superb. Really good. So I'm most likely to keep him entire. And there they're going, having a look for a little drink. Bless them. Here they all are, out for the first time. Beautiful day, lots of grass, and boy are they really happy. Here we have Lottie, I think that is, yeah, it's Lottie, and that is Longfellow, and then down here is the absolutely delightful little Lara having a snooze after she's had a drink. Morning, it's lambing live from Longcroft Longwalls, day 7, can you believe? And here we are with the 3 ewes out with most of their lambs, really confident that they've now bonded well with them, and they've got the benefit of being out in the sunshine, but also able to come back indoors and get out of that wind, which is a bit brisk today. Let's have a look. Oh, hello. Where are we off to? Lively one. Here we have one of Lottie's lambs. No, sorry, Lollipop's lambs, little ewe lamb, and that is Luna side on. She is so cute. Update with Lady Jane. Definitely much happier. Definitely now feeding both. I'm down to 2 bottles a day. Just really just to keep him full. But happy that that's going well. Yep, definitely going well. So, speak to you soon. Bye. Good afternoon. It's Saturday afternoon. It's Longcroft Longwalls here. Just giving you a brief update and a lovely picture of these glorious lambs out in the sunshine. And here we are. Here we've got a couple having a really good drink from Mum. How lovely is that? Who have we got down here? Oh, yeah, this is little Lara investigating my wheelbarrow.
Well, aren't they gorgeous? We are so lucky to have fabulous yarns from Longcroft and Marley, and it's been an absolute privilege to be able to share in the excitement of lambing live thanks to our accidental shepherdess Ali. If you want to follow more adventures of Lara and her brother and her cousins, then do make sure you are following along with our Instagram and Facebook. But the best way, the absolute treat, is Ali's monthly blog that she writes for our monthly newsletter. So if you haven't got enough reasons to sign up for our newsletter, me writing you a lovely letter, first dibs on everything new that comes in, exclusive discount codes for online shopping for our newsletter subscribers, the monthly blog is worth it in itself. She's a fabulous writer, isn't she? She's so funny.
Yeah.
I think one month she wrote a haiku because she was waiting for the lambs and she was bored. So yeah, and at the time of recording, the 2 Black Wensleydales, Lovebug and Ladybug, who I think at least one, they've both been with Leo, or one, I can't remember which ram side the lambs, but Leo has the most beautiful violet hue to his fleece. That is going to make the most gorgeous yarn. At the time of recording, they have still got their legs firmly crossed and so far are refusing to lamb. So bearing in mind this started literally the week we recorded the podcast, the previous episode, I then got a call from Ali like the next day going, they started at 2:00 in the morning and she was exhausted. That's some weeks now, and they are still comfortable in the maternity wing. Thank you very much. There is going to be a pattern in the Knitter magazine using Ali's yarn, which is really exciting. We've got the new yarn that's been sent off to spin, and someone is going to be dyeing some of it.
Exciting.
So exciting. And we've got some new designs that we're doing as the Yarn Dispensary that will be coming out in the future as well. So as I said, newsletter, follow us in all the places. You'll be the first to know. Now, I had a nice clockwise thing going on for my screen recording. Everyone's in different places on their own screens. However, someone, while we were looking at lambs, has had a costume change. So I think someone wants to go first with her finished object. Shall we let her?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, let's let her.
Go on then,
Yeah, why
Ros.
not? And this came from Tribe Yarns, designed by the gorgeous Millie. I thought this was going to be mostly grey, but it's actually turned out mostly pink. But actually, I always say I don't wear pink, but there we are. This is quite nice.
It looks pretty.
So there we are. Thank you, Millie. Really pleased with it. It's very light, but it's very warm.
It's
I
lovely.
think it's mostly silk.
Yeah.
It's stunning, and it's just so beautiful, and really, really suits you, Ros.
Thank you. I'm not, as I said, I don't normally wear pink, but it's a sort of greyish pink and very gentle.
Pink. It's a grubby pink.
Sorry?
It's grubby pink. You can
Yes,
real
yes.
grubby pink.
Exactly, and it's not too pink.
Did it take long to? No, but no. This is Ros. It didn't take long to knit.
Well,
how
no,
was it to knit?
You start here. You start here, and then you've got various things. You're not increasing every single row, so there's a sort of a line of increases every now and then, separate for the arms, and then go downhill till you've got it as long as you like. Now it's knitted on a size 6 needle, 6mm,
And it's
so
quite
it does
fine
grow
yarn,
pretty
isn't
quick.
it?
Oh, incredibly fine. It's like,
When you stood up, actually, there was almost a sort of
It was like a halo, wasn't there?
like a halo and a bit
Yeah.
of a Princess Di moment with your sleeves. It's just
It's beautiful.
really
Yeah,
beautiful.
they are slightly bulbous, if you see what I mean. The way they hang, they could go out and come in again slightly, which is quite nice.
I think they look
And
nice
one has
like
ended
that.
up
I like that because it's got that floaty look about
Yeah.
it. If it was tight, it wouldn't actually, it wouldn't float like that, would it? It's really pretty.
It's,
No, and it needed to stop at this
Yeah.
mid-arm level. I think it's nice.
You know
But you
what?
can make those choices because you're knitting from the top down.
do you know what? I really want one. I really, really want to cast one on. I'm also going to raid our sale because I reckon the Issachar mohair silk that we've got on sale would look really good in that. And yeah, I think I'm going to raid the Issachar, and unless everyone gets there before me, Issachar is currently on sale, reduced quite significantly, and we've got some lovely colours of the mohair silk left. So we'll see if anyone leaves me any to have a play with, but that might have to be my birthday treat because my birthday's coming up.
Exactly.
That's a good excuse, isn't
That
it?
is a very good excuse.
And there's nothing to stop you changing colour because it's knitted top down in the round. Just use what you have of each colour.
I
It
love
wouldn't matter if the sleeves were two different.
how it goes
colours.
to dark at the bottom in the sleeves. I think that's really gorgeous.
There's more of the grey came through down there, so it's sort of random, and you just have to wait and see what happens. So it's kind of fun.
All of these things are at least, well, some of them are at least a year old. So I had a load of very close to finishing projects. Yes, what was I saying?
To be fair, a lot of your objects were a year or more old and quite close to being finished.
So a fair few of them had like a row or 2 rows to do, and I just couldn't be bothered to do them. So I sat down and actually bothered to do them. Where shall I start? I actually finished a pair of socks in exciting news. So in the second Truly Hooked socks book, which I think is called The Second Draw Down, yes, is this sock called the Briar sock, which is a very pretty cable down the length of it, and ribbing up the back, which I've never done on a sock, but it's very comfortable, having worn them around the house. It's, I think, stranded dye works. I can't remember what the colourway was called. I think it's called Downtown, but yeah, it's got a little cable up the side and then the big cable down the middle. And I did make 2 of them, which I'm very proud of myself about.
You don't often treat both your feet, do you?
No, no. I have one foot I prefer over the other one. It's on the longer leg, and that one tends to get socks more than the other one does. But yes, actual finished pair of socks. So I'm very pleased.
Like a proper grown-up.
Proper grown-up, finishing socks and everything. What else have I got? I've got a hat. And it's that side, yes. Hat, tubular cast on, because that's a thing I can do now, so I'm going to put it on everything. I don't have a pattern for this. It's just a ribbed hat. I think I cast on about 120 stitches. It's in the Croft Aran in Stairlister, I think.
Stony Brick.
Stony Brick. I knew it began with an S. It's also very comfortable.
We'll have to get you to jot it down.
Yes. Yes. I've lost my place again. I've had a good day for remembering things.
Well, let's go to, they are 2 fabulous finished objects, and there are lots more to come from Vic down there, looking very, very proud. So why don't we, do you know what I'm really excited about? We've got brand spanking new yarn in the shop that I'm really excited about. It all arrived at my house and my living room. When my husband came in, he was like, oh, good God. I was like, it's fine. It's not for me. It's for the shop, I promise. Sort of stashing it behind my back. And it is the Colour Lab DK from West Yorkshire Spinners. Viewers of the podcast will know we quite like West Yorkshire Spinners. It is affordable, it is British, it is high quality, it is machine washable, and they have a range of patterns for adults and children across the spectrum, and generally we just find it very well written. And actually, before we even managed to get the yarn, Linda was very excited about it, weren't you?
Yeah.
And passed on, and I think you finished it very quickly.
Finished one
very quickly. Yeah. Not one, but two gorgeous children's cardigans.
Right, okay. So this is the first one I done, which is done in the Prism Brights, which is, it's not been washed yet, so it's probably going to need a bit of a washing and a bit of a blocking, and it hasn't got buttons on it. It's got little pins at the moment. But this is for my my little 3-year-old granddaughter for Easter, so I've made it in that colour. And then my 6-year-old has got a pink one, which is in the Pretty Pinks, because she's definitely a pink girl. And it knitted up really lovely. And what I love is, because of the fact that it's self-striping, each section, because it's in a different stitch, the stripes becomes obviously different sizes, and the sleeves as well. And it's just got a nice effect to it. And it's lovely yarn. And I had some left over, so I just threw together some little bags. So there's a little crocheted bag that I just which is sort of a rainbow shape because it's a rainbow colour. And then I did a little, like a folded flower for Aria with her pink ones, which I shall put some little bunnies or some little eggs in for them for Easter. So it's good fun, and just something different just to add to. But the yarn's lovely. Bless you, my child. Yeah, no, it's just lovely yarn, nice, and it'll be nice for the kids because they can go up the garden and get grubby, and then we can throw them in the washing machine. So I'm looking forward to giving them to them, because I know that they're going to. This one is the little one that's having this one is a little blonde angel who will look very sweet in that. Yeah. And Aria's very dark, so she's going to look gorgeous in her pinks. So That's really nice. So I'll bring pictures next time so that we can see them on. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to with that lovely yarn. And I think already it's going quite well from the shop, isn't it? I think there's going to be lots of people showing off their lovely garments on our Facebook and Instagram page. So
definitely, I've had to place an order to restock some colours already. They are absolutely beautiful, and you're right, they will look like little angels until they throw themselves in muddy puddles again.
Oh, I know. Oh, they're constantly in muddy puddles. So that's why I have to have machine washable, because they do like a bit of mud, my girls.
Whoops, I fell.
Yeah. Oh, and just to say, if anybody heard the telephone, I'm sorry, my telephone's turned on. We have a baby overdue, so I'm keeping my telephone turned on just in case I'm needed in the middle of a podcast.
I think everyone will understand, and it's very exciting. So yeah, we're all waiting with bated breath. How was the yarn to knit with? Because it's not as super duper soft as the Bo Peep DK that we used.
It was lovely, and actually I think once you'd knitted it up, I was slightly worried when I started knitting it, and I thought, is it going to be a bit scratchy? Because you know what kids are like for scratchy yarn, they don't like it. But actually knitted up, it feels softer than it does when you're taking it off the ball, and I think once it's been washed it'll get even softer. So I think it's going to be absolutely fine. It's lovely, and it was nice to knit with. It was nice because the colours change fairly regularly, so you know you're always thinking, oh, I'm nearly at the pink, or I'm, you know, it's just it was a nice one to do. I'd use it again, definitely. I might even make myself something with it.
Yeah, because there's a pattern book that you've got that will flash up, which is the Colour Lab Kids, but there is actually a Colour Lab pattern book for grown-ups.
Yeah,
and I've got my eye on the Fair Isle jumper. I really like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
But and actually we've had some adults buy themselves sweater quantities, but it's quite sweet because they've gone, no, don't tell anyone, but I'm making it for me. Like, fine. And don't worry, I won't tell anyone. I'll just tell the 3,500 people that watch our podcasting. That's between us, guys. Yeah, just between us. And actually, what's really exciting is I personally was never really sure what you could do with self-striping other than obviously socks. It's measured out very carefully to give specific width stripes and different repeats. It's ever so scientific and mathematical and wonderful. So it's really cool to see what else you can do with self-striping yarn, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually like self-striping sometimes when you get sort of a grid, so you're not got a whole row, and then suddenly everything starts going at funny angles on the colour stripes. I think they look pretty when they're like that.
Yeah, it's like pooling but slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost more deliberate.
Because it's almost like building blocks, you know, like somebody's building with Lego with different colours, and it blocks up, doesn't it, like a building block.
Tell us in the comments below, have any of you done anything different with self-striping yarn? Have you crocheted with self-striping, Linda?
I haven't actually. I need to do that, don't I? Give it a go.
Should we go back to Vic for another finished object?
Yeah, go on then, Vic.
And then we'll go to Roz.
Who should I pick from the pile? Many moons ago, in the before times, before the plague, we could go to other people's houses. And I went to Gemma's house and she let me throw some dye on some yarn. And I may have accidentally dyed some yarn somehow and knitted it into a thing that I've been knitting since 2019, I think. So it's been a while in the making, and I haven't blocked it yet. I know, surprise, surprise, but it's quite pretty. It's called, it's called the Wild Swan Shawl by, I have it written down, Nim Teasdale and Annalise Mygard.
It's very pretty.
Very gorgeous.
Sort of like, probably supposed to be feathers, considering it's called the Wild Swan, but my brain always goes to leaves. And it's very satisfying because it was the first lace thing that I ever knitted, and I had no idea what I was doing, and you can quite clearly see where I figured out how you're supposed to do leaning increases.
But I love that. Yeah, I think everyone should never be put off. They should just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had the yarn and it's
well, Debbie does that, doesn't she? A lovely lady from Annette and Stitch Night. She's just leaps into things and it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
There's none of this, oh, I've never done that before, therefore I can't.
I think as long as you're pattern comes from a reputable source, because inevitably on the internet anybody can put up a pattern, but if you find out somehow whether it's somebody recommended to you or a well-known designer, chances are it'll be properly tech edited, because it's really unfair on beginners to have a pattern that's got mistakes in it.
Yeah,
so,
and quite often with the big pattern,
look at where your pattern.
yeah, and quite often with the big pattern houses, you will find the odd errata. I mean, they're generally really good. Mistakes and changes are called errata, very grandly. They're very good at catching them and sorting them out. But what's lovely about indie designers is they often, especially if it's paid for pattern, will hire a technical editor who will look for all these odd things, like, you know, have you got a random capital letter somewhere? My tech editor for the Lara's Legacy socks, which Vic's going to talk about in a bit, which I'm so excited about, like, oh my God, she made my pattern bleed. It was like, if it was a teacher with red ink, it would have been bleeding everywhere. You know, why have you got a full stop here and you haven't there? And, you know, as an ex-English teacher, I was like, oh, I'll hang my head in shame. But the point is that they put a lot of effort into getting it just so. So don't be afraid of independent designers, particularly with paid for patterns. Yeah. If it's a free pattern, I'm going to put my hands up, I design. If it's a free pattern, I'm not paying to have it tech edited because it costs quite a lot of money. But typically, if it's a free pattern, it's fairly simple and it doesn't need a lot of, you know, but yeah, but that's really beautiful. Vic is actually going to pin the shawl out, aren't you, Vic, after this, ready for blocking?
I am actually going to have
lovely photograph. Yeah, because the yarn, and you can't, it's not really showing up very well on the screen, is utterly beautiful. Vic has got an absolute natural talent for dyeing yarn, which is why I've never ever had Vic back to my house to dye.
I wasn't allowed back.
No, go away, you're too good, you're going to see me out of a job. It's utterly beautiful. It's like a kind of minty base, isn't it? But it's got flecks of purples and, oh, it's gorgeous.
Pretty much just went with every colour.
I'll have some of this, I'll have some of that.
Bit of that, just chuck it on, have a good time, yeah.
We're actually all going to do a dye workshop, aren't we? As part of our going back to work, because excitingly, we've just had a week or so ago, a couple of weeks ago, the roadmap for reopening the UK from our Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and we are tentatively going to be opening on the 16th of April. So that's the Friday, the 16th of April. And we've been working like ships in the night, really, haven't we? I've been working from home. You three have been going in on different days to pack orders. And thank you so much to everyone who's placed an order, no matter how small. You really, I'm not exaggerating, you are the reason we are still going. It has been incredibly hard for so many yarn shops and loads of businesses in general, obviously, no matter what the sector, but you guys are the reason we are able to open our doors again. So thank you. The online shop will continue, obviously. I've built the damn thing. I'm not going to get rid of it now, but it will run alongside. So actually, we are going to have, I think they call it a team building day, don't they, in corporate world? And we're going to do some cold water dyeing. Shall we record it? Shall we vlog it for the next podcast?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
We do that. Would you like to see that, everyone? If you would, just drop us a comment down below, and we're going to do some dyeing in the courtyard, which John and Vanessa have agreed to. I think I might need to buy some tarpaulin so we don't just paint the courtyard, because we might be in a bit of trouble. But yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you all come up with. Vic, you can wash up.
Thanks.
Excellent. Right, Roz, hat?
Oh, do you want me to do my hat?
Yes, please. I can't believe we've not seen it before.
Well,
I checked the other podcast as well. It's not there.
This is, I think this shape is a tam o'shanter, isn't that right?
Yeah,
the
tam
circular
o'shanter.
part on the top and this section. This is a pattern from the website called Knitty, and it's called the Ogiku hat. I don't know how you say that, but it's not the best place to model it. But anyway, that's knitted in the Stolen Stitches Nua, which is the Carol Feller yarn. It is the softest, most gorgeous yarn. It has a slight fleck to it. This multicolored pattern obviously lends itself to being, they're all the same yarn, so the color scheme blends really nicely. And what I found when I've used this yarn before, I've done a couple of garments in it, is that when you do a Fair Isle type pattern, so you've got 2 layers, it does a sort of silky felted effect, which is so soft and so glorious that I've started doing another one. So it starts from the band, and then I'm going up to the ridge part, and then it starts to come in. It's actually a lovely thing to knit. And I've worn it a lot, actually. I'm not normally a hat person, but it's been so blooming cold this winter that even with the amount of hair I've got, I've needed a hat.
It looks really lovely on you, and you got some beautiful pictures, didn't you, on the beach, which I'll have put up, either overlaid them already or I'll put them up now. It's really lovely. So
I'll show you something else.
What, another finished object?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, please.
This started out as an experiment for, let's bring the camera down a little bit. Because I've done so many shawls that are very colourful, including the one behind me, I decided I needed something to go around my neck that was just a single colour to wear with perhaps more colourful things. So this is the most gorgeous yarn we've had in the shop for a long time. It's from Faversham. It's called Scrumptious 4-ply, but I used 2 strands together. So this is just possibly, oh, I can't remember, I'll have to weigh it. But the pattern was just a pattern out of Stitch Directory. This is a Stitch Directory we've got in the shop. And so you can go through all these things and pick a pattern that you like. It's just me randomly opening the book. And some of them have different numbers of stitch repeats. And it tells you how many stitches to cast on to get the repeats that you want. And I just kept going till I'd run out of yarn, and it was knitted flat. And then I did a 3-needle bind off just to join it. And yeah, sort of, but it's silky and cozy. This yarn, we've all loved it in the shop. I'm thinking it's got this sheen to it, and we've always been trying to think what should we knit with it, and it's perfect for small items like this. So
yeah, I did a shawl with it, didn't I? Which is really lovely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did it from the crochet project, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
If we've got a picture, I'll put it up. But if not, the next podcast we're hoping to record from the courtyard, so we'll show it off then.
Yeah, we've got.
Right, it's one of those yarns that everyone loves and customers admire. But then, what do you do with it? It's choosing that project, and because it's merino and silk, isn't it? So it's going to have a beautiful drape and a beautiful luster. And it's just that confidence with choosing what to do. I've got something up my sleeve that hopefully I will show you next time. That's really lovely. Was it easy to just sort of, was the maths easy, Ros, when you're using a stitch dictionary?
Yes, I think normally it tells you, well, it tells you how deep the repeat is, but if you're knitting a straight piece, that doesn't really matter so much. But it will say cast on, say 12 stitches or 24 stitches plus 1 at either end or something like that. So I wanted to see how, I think I did a little experiment, and I thought, 2 goes of the repeat or 3 goes of the repeat made the width I wanted. So it is a bit experimental. You might find that it's too narrow or something. And once I'd got that repeat, what I did was I tend to take photos of them and blow them up. Now, don't worry about copyright when you're blowing something up for your own use at home onto a scrap of paper. So which, if you don't mind, I can show you. There's a tip I was planning to show you from my latest cast on. Shall I show you?
Yeah, brilliant. Love a tip. In
this new mag, which is I think a Vogue knitting mag, there's this lovely lady on the front here. I only bought it last week. I found a cardigan that I rather liked. It's a fairly classic shape, but it's got quite a detailed cable. But when looking, there's a lot of information in this mag, and so they've actually printed, can you see, a tiddly chart And I don't know whether it's just me. I mean, I may be the only person here who's not been wearing my glasses, but I do have very strong lenses on. I can see that. And while I'm knitting cables and I've got my hands full, I want to be able to glance at an instruction to be able, it's quite a long one, so I'm not going to remember all of it. So I took a photograph of it with my phone. And then, so that's that little section. I took a photograph on the phone and then sent it to my PC and managed to print it much bigger. And then these cable diagrams are all, I expanded this as well because they're quite detailed. And the terminology sometimes changes a little bit. So you want to identify exactly what you've got. So I then color coded them. So I can now have this beside me and glance at it. And I started yesterday.
And you finished?
Knitted right across the cardigan. No, it's only yesterday. It was St. Patrick's Day, so I had to start in the green, but there we go. So that is the beginning. And you know how the setup row of a cable thing sometimes has to be done several times. Well, because I spent a bit of time preparing, it's working right from the beginning. So
brilliant.
Watch this space.
That's just a fantastic. I love the colouring in. The colouring is amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely doing that. That's brilliant because it's so much easier to learn a colour than a thing, isn't it? They do that with children. When you're teaching children to organise, apparently one of the things that works really well is to organise all their things in rainbow colours, because then they can remember where they know where the colour is, as opposed to remembering where jigsaw puzzles go or where something else goes. So I'm clearly a child and I'm delighted by this colouring in. I'm going to try it. That's
you know how often people will say, you know how often people will say, oh, I couldn't possibly work from a chart, because we all started learning to knit line by line, as English patterns often spoon-fed you each line. And then we get onto the Norwegian ones where they say knit until it measures whatever. But when you have a pattern like this and the diagram is super tiny, there's no way I can see that. So
when I did my Japanese,
but once you've got that, then it's so much easier.
Yeah. And so when I did my Japanese one, the poncho thing, I literally I blew it up this big. I took it into a printer's and had it blown up huge, because there was no way that I could have done it without. It was just, you have to have a big version when it's so complicated. Then you know there isn't any way that you can do it without.
You don't want to put it down, do you? No. You want to be able to glance across at the thing and right.
That's the
Mine was a crochet one.
Go.
But the other thing is, even if the chart was bigger, the other nice thing about doing that is, because it's a magazine and the way it's bound, it wants to kind of curl in a bit, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So having it like that, having it flat. I like spiral bound books if you've got a pattern book, but with the magazine it does that. Exactly. And actually we've done that before, haven't we? We have a lovely lady who came in and she wanted to buy, it was an Erica Knight pattern, and they use a grey font on a white background, and some people can't see it. And actually, if you're purchasing the pattern and it is for you, obviously copyright says, as Ros mentioned, don't worry about it, because if it's for personal use, then it's okay. And we've actually blown things up and changed colours on patterns in the shop, haven't we, for customers before?
We have, yeah.
Always ask. If you're going into a local yarn shop and there's something you're not sure about, always ask, because every yarn shop I've been in, everyone's super helpful, aren't they? And they just want to make this joyous craft accessible to everyone. So if there's anything that they can do, you know, I mean, sometimes it's not possible, but always ask.
Yeah,
well, exactly. And as you said before, I love doing things really fiddly. The fiddlier, the better. And I can't bear the thought of getting older and being able to see less and less. So working out ways of getting around it is really good.
Yeah, it's good that like technology can work alongside time-honored crafts and handcrafts like this as well. It's not all destroying it. Yeah. Do you know what, on a personal level, and I think some of our viewers will probably feel the same, when you said, you know how the first row of the cable often needs doing several times, that made me feel so good, because it always happens to me. I've been knitting for donkey's years, and I was doing a cabled Afghan, and I could not get the setup row right for love nor money, and it took so long. So if you're at home thinking you can never get that first row done, persevere.
Yeah,
absolutely. Same with lace. Until you've got that understanding of the pattern in your head, and with a smallish repeat, you probably will learn it. But at the beginning, markers are your friend.
Yeah,
And
things out. But exactly. But we've all had to redo the start of things several times. Even now, after all these years, still kind of think, hang on. And then after a while you think, no, that's meant to be leaning that way, that cable joins with that, and you think,
yeah, and it's learning to read a different thing. It's just practice and preparation is really good. Talking about redoing the start of things and trying things again, I'm going to share my finished object, which I don't have here, but I recorded my own podcast a couple of weeks ago, just after I'd finished. It is the Truly Hooked, it's from the pattern on Start Again. It's a crocheted top. I think I showed it off on the last podcast as a work in progress. I can't remember. And I've done it in Truly Hooked's own yarn. It is a simple top-down crocheted jumper using mostly doubles, and it's in the book On the Hook, which is an award-winning crochet book from Truly Hooked, which we have, surprise, surprise, on the website and in the shop.
Yeah.
It has been gifted to the person it was intended for. I'm not going to lie, I was quite annoyed it fitted her.
no.
But now I'm debating doing myself one. But anyway, I'm going to actually insert some footage here from my podcast, Tales from Midnight Diary, so that you can actually see it, because I don't have it here because I've already gifted it. Ta-da! Here we have it. This is, I can't see you. Hi! Here we have it. This is the Eliza T from the book On the Hooked by Truly Hooked. I am really proud of this. It is my first crochet adult garment. And from last week when I was sharing with you my tale of yarn woe, you can see I have actually completed it. I've got this really cute little detail down at the bottom that I just love, and added little cap sleeves as well. Now the eagle-eyed amongst you might be able to spot that there are some not so subtle differences between this bit and this bit. You might also spot a little bit of a fade going on here as well. So this is because the lovely Sophie, who is a Spring Snowflake podcast, go and check her out, was very organised and knew that she had what I needed in her stash. Unfortunately, it was a slightly different dialogue. So I started fading in about here, and you can kind of see it almost looks a little bit stripy. And then I just went for it at the bottom and on the sleeves. But last time I spoke to you, I was actually here, where this purple stitch marker is. It's very handy. And that was last Saturday. I recorded a podcast on Saturday last week, so my husband had something very exciting going on. And yeah, so I've got all of this done. I actually finished it at Sip and Stitch night on Wednesday and was utterly thrilled. Yeah, it is mostly treble crochets. This is actually not a very holy fabric. Excuse the ends. It is actually for a friend of mine, and if it's not quite right for her, I want to add more on. So I don't want to, you know, there's no point sewing the ends in to then have to unpick them again, is there? Exactly. So it's not as holy as it could be as a crochet garment. I did actually do it on a tighter gauge. Do I love the way it looks? Yes. Am I going to make one for me? No. I found this a slog. There is nothing wrong with the pattern. The pattern is beautiful and it is really easy to follow. And as a fairly inexperienced crocheter in terms of garments, I would actually say that this is a fantastic one to start with if you are wanting to try to crochet a garment. I think it's really flattering. It's got a gorgeous neckline. It's really easy to do. But having made one, I now don't want to make another one, because where it is just trebles all the way down the body, it feels like you're getting nowhere fast. There's quite a lot of crochet in here. Having said that, everyone who's seen me modelling this one has said that actually it does really suit me and I should consider doing one for myself. So maybe I will do one in the Midnight Diary yarns. I hooked it on, chained it on last summer, and discovered when I put it on, we did a socially distance, I sort of chucked it at her, she shoved it over her head, and it was just a little bit tight, particularly around the armholes. So what I did, because I was already doing the larger size, and I'd actually gone down a hook size because I'm usually quite a loose crocheter. So I just assumed I needed to go down half a hook size. It should have been done on a 4.5 and I've done it on a 4. So what I did instead was I worked out the maths, how many of these repeats, how many stitches I needed to add a certain number of inches, and I did it that way. So yeah, I'm hoping it will fit her. So I started it then having ripped it out, I found the first round really, really tricky. I'm going to be completely honest here. I always ended up with the wrong number of stitches. Verity in her instructions, she says, oh, it's fine. You know, you might just have to skip 3 or 4 at the end instead of, 5. No, I had completely the wrong number and it just would not have worked. I don't know what I was doing. But yeah, so I then sort of put it to one side and thought, oh, okay, I have to do some maths. So I did the maths and then I started it again, but then it went wrong. And then I did it and we tried it on my friend again and it fitted beautifully and I lost it for weeks. Could not find it. Couldn't find it in the bag I'd taken to my friends. This was back pre-lockdown, or it was kind of in between lockdown 1 and lockdown 2, where you could meet in private gardens. So I had my bag with me with lots of different things in, because we do lots of different things, sewing, quilting, that sort of thing. They're trying to lead me down the quilting rabbit hole. At the moment, I'm on the edge, sort of like looking down, going, no, you're not going to take me alive. Anyway, wasn't there. Found it again about 3 months later. Thought, oh good, I know where it is now. Promptly lost it again. So in the end, it basically was here after Christmas, and I've done all of this since Christmas. So I'm really pleased to have my first adult garment off the hook from the book On the Hook. Did I mention that? I love a pun.
Okay, well, I'm going to put my foot right in it here now. If you want one, because I have also worked that pattern, give me some of your yarn and I will make you one for your birthday. Because it's a pattern I know, so I can do it fairly quickly. So if you would like to, you can send me some of your yarn and I'll make you a birthday present with it.
Oh, I love you.
Okay.
Oh, that's so kind. Are you sure?
Yeah, positive.
Okay, good, because you've just said it in front of a few hundred people.
That's what I thought.
Oh, do you know, my merino tencel, I really want to see how that crochets up. I was going to
Okay, send me enough to do it and I'll do you one.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay. Right, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. So it was a really, really fun garment, and hilariously I took it round and did a socially distanced drop off to the person who it was for, and I handed it to her and I hadn't woven in the ends because well, if it wasn't quite right I would have needed to undo it, and I'm not faffing around digging out the ends once you've woven them in. I mean, come on, that makes no sense. So I gave it to her and she went to try it on, and as she went up the stairs to try it on, I was outside, and the way the door opens, you look straight up the stairs, and as she disappeared up the stairs, she went, "Will you need it back to finish it?" she said, looking at the ends. And I said to my friend Jackie, I went, "She wants me to sew in her ends." No, she could sew in her own blooming ends. She said, "Oh, but it might be a special technique." I said, "Helen, you are fooling no one. You have just woven in 11,000,000,003 ends on an Intarsia sloth jumper for your granddaughter. You can weave these in yourself." To be fair, if she'd given it back to me to weave in the ends, she'd have been waiting another 2 years to get it back. So shall we return to Vic for yet another finished object? Or yeah?
I saved this one from under the cat, the one who walks past. She's been staring daggers at me all day, and my little brother's just fed her, and now she's sated for maybe 15 minutes, but then she'll probably be back. Right. So again, with the whole trying to film black yarn, I finished the jumper. It's a cabled sweater from the Croft Aaron book. I think it was the Shetland Tweed book. It's called the Ewan sweater. So it's got one big cable up the middle and then two small ones either side. It's not supposed to have a cable on the back, but I put a cable on the back. It's got cables up the sleeves. Maybe if I can find them, yes. So it's got a smaller version of the big cable up the sleeves, which I can't find the camera.
That's it.
It's getting
How
there.
to see it, yeah. And I
Yeah.
put a hood on it because I'm going to use it.
Put a hood on it?
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's like a whole
Excellent.
It's I was quite pleased with myself because I don't know how I managed it, but I managed to get the cable to go all the way up the back of the hood and didn't make any mistakes on that.
Oh, well done.
Don't ask me how. It was
You're
an
a
apparent
legend.
pace. It's yeah. I do my best, but it's a bit cat hairy, and there are biscuit crumbs on it. I won't lie, but it's very comfortable. I have worn it walking the dog, and I'm very pleased with it. Not least because it didn't take me nearly as long as I think it ought to have. I've got it
Lovely.
written down that I finished it on the 8th of February.
So
which
it was
doesn't feel
literally
right, but
4 days after we filmed the last podcast.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of knitting in a hood. There is a
there is a
lot
lot
of
of
knitting in a hood.
I mean, it wasn't too hard because it was like you picked up all the stitches around the neck and then just knitted flat and then cast off some stitches at the side, knit up the middle, and then sewed it so it was like 2 seams down the side. So it wasn't too bad, but it was the cable was the bit that sort of slowed me down a bit. But it's done. I've finished an actual proper jumper.
You are amazing. Just that's incredible. Oh, a note on the Falkland Merino Aran, which you have used. Falkland Merino Aran is machine washable according to the label.
Yes.
Don't machine wash it.
No.
I used it as one of the colours in Magnus's dog jumper, which I chucked in the machine because the Croft Shetland Tweed was the main colour, the dark blue, and I used the pale blue Falkland Merino for the contrast colour. I'll flash up a picture of him here because he looks super cute and everyone loves seeing a puppy. If you don't, I don't understand you. But the Shetland came out absolutely fine, but the colour work went and it was only washed on a 30, and actually the ball bands of the Falkland Merino Aran say that you can wash it to 40. So I'm a bit concerned by that. So I mean, it isn't a yarn we carry anymore. It's only what's in the sale. But I'm going to add that to the website as well and say, look, just machine wash with care. A tip that I picked up that I really like and find really useful, since having destroyed my dog's jumper, is most people will swatch if they're doing something special. I don't tend to swatch lighter too short, but if I'm doing something special, I will be good and I will swatch. Chuck that swatch in the machine and see what happens to it.
Yeah.
Much better to felt the swatch than to felt your whole jumper. So just be careful with that one, Vic, if you do chuck it in the machine.
Yeah.
I have washed my
mine.
navy cardigan in the machine, but it is only one colour. There was no colour work in it. And it worked okay.
It was
Yeah.
only the colour work that shrunk. It was only the Falkland Merino that sort of went chinched in. So I don't know if it is to do with the fact I combined them, but I would say get yourself some Eucalan or some soak, or even one of the special like wool wash things that you get in Tesco's, and just chuck it in. And yeah, I prefer soak and Eucalan because you don't have to rinse them afterwards. You literally just chuck it in with the soak, leave it, have a cup of tea, squeeze it, hang it out, perfect, done. Lazy girls hand washing or sorry, busy working woman's hand washing.
Yeah, that's better.
Not entrepreneurs hand washing. Right, who's got anything else to show?
Okay, this little hat is a woolly wormhead hat from a pattern that's called Trio of Hats. And what a rather nice, oops, is she getting it wrong?
So beautiful.
That's that.
So sweet. I love those decreases.
It's pretty, isn't it? And I found the label. It is the Rowan Baby Merino Silk DK. Let's see what it says about washing on here. So she needs extra spectacles. Yeah, 30 wash. And then all those symbols that say don't do anything else, but 30 machine is okay.
Yeah, just always make sure if you're putting it in the machine that you've not got it on a cycle that spins, you know, an extra.
Should I put it on the terrible dolly?
Come here, child. It's like one of those claw machines.
Yeah. Well, this dolly doesn't complain, so there we go.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Your grandson will be cuter in it once
He will one day.
once he gets born. This baby at least is here. English baby, but the only reason I bought this dolly was because it's got a standard baby size head. So
Yeah.
one can at least look at the hat and not the dreadful dolly.
Well,
what you do.
if I may leap in at this point with a work in progress, because as we're talking about waiting for a certain young man to make an appearance,
Yes.
I have almost finished a little vest top for said little man.
Oh no, that's so cute.
I should have stitch marker it together so I could actually show it off properly, shouldn't I? This is poor preparation, therefore poor performance. But yeah, I'm using it's Bo Peep Luxury Baby DK, which is machine washable and affordable, and it's 48% merino, 52% nylon, or the other way around. We can tolerate nylon in our natural fibre yarns, even though nylon is not a natural fibre, because it means that things just last that little bit longer, particularly with socks. And we just think this is great because, you know, children and babies, they grow, and then you really want something to be good enough that you can pass to someone else, you know, because children are also expensive. So it's really nice. This is the Puddles colourway, which is one of the variegated colourways as opposed to the flat. And it almost works a little bit like Serdar Crofter, but not quite as, you know. And what I did, I'm proud of this bit, there's a little bit of an offset. When you're doing a V-neck top like this, you knit da 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 da, and then you knit one side, having broken the yarn, and come back and knit the other. And when you're using a self-striping yarn or a self-patterning yarn like this, in the pictures that use these sorts of yarns, you will often see there's some sort of weird disconnect where the colours don't match up anymore. But it's actually so simple to make them match again. It took me a few goes, but when I rejoined the yarn, I wound it off to try as close as I can to get it so the darker blue matched on this side to this side. As you can see, it's ever so slightly off.
It's fabulous.
I don't think, you'd have to look pretty closely, and if you're looking that closely with a small child, you're more likely ew, because you'll see milk.
Can I just say I did it too, and my cardies, they match almost exactly the fronts. I wound them so that the colour stripes, you can't actually see very well, but they literally match up across the front, because I knew that it would irritate my daughter if they were all over the place, because she would like them to be so, obviously, because the back is different size stripes because of the width. You couldn't do it, but with the fronts I did it.
So you can make sure the fronts are the same, even if there's a difference with the seam at the side.
That's it.
All you need.
Yeah, it was great. I'm glad I thought of it, because I first of all, to be honest, I will be honest with you, I just knitted and then I thought, oh, that's not going to look right. So I pulled it back and then wound the ball on enough to get it to the right bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with not doing that, and some people really like it. But for me, I think if you're putting that much care into making something, just for the sake of winding off a little bit of yarn, and it's not particularly wasteful, and you can always use it for other things. Some people use their waste yarn for stuffing. They use it if it's a nice long strip to keep aside for something like an invisible seam, like mattress stitch, where it really doesn't matter what colour you use. Yeah, so this was a free pattern. I've done the 6 to 12 month size. I did swatch because I have a long and time-honoured history of knitting things for newborns that would fit toddlers, because I'm a very loose knitter. But this is why it's important to swatch, kids. But yeah, so no, I really like it. It was a free pattern from the West Yorkshire Spinners website. We will be hosting those patterns on our site soon. And their digital pattern collection, it's just a case of me wrangling the website, but it's so pretty. So all I need to do now is sew up the side seams and do the armbands. But my mojo's really abandoned me this past week. I'm so done with this. I'm sure everyone is, but creativity is taking a hit as we enter year 2 of pandemic. Okay. Any more works in progress?
Yes.
So while Vic is off grabbing a charger, I'll show you what I'm doing for our Not a Mystery Along. So this is the Isla shawl. I've chosen the crocheted shawl by Anna Nikiforovich because I'm doing a Stephen West pattern that I can show you anyway. But for this, I thought I've never done a crocheted shawl. So I thought I would. And Vic very kindly, the pattern is done in Rowan Studio linen, which is a yarn we will be carrying in the future. But for now, we've got, creative linen. For now, we've got quite a lot of Erica Knight Studio linen. Again, it's on sale. So Vic chose me some colours for this shawl, and I'm actually just on the 4th colour now. I'll see if I can show you. I'll take some pictures as well. We're going to do pictures and things like we normally, hello pussycat, like we normally do. But there we go.
Oh, that's lovely.
Am I showing you in front? No. So it does need heavy blocking. I thought I was a loose crocheter. Turns out I'm quite tight. It's meant to be done on a 6mm hook, and I'm doing it on a 5 for 2 reasons. 1, because I thought I was a loose crocheter. 2, because I didn't have a 6 in my crochet hook roll, and I couldn't be bothered to go and find one. So I've done it on a 5. But when it blocks out, it will become quite holy.
Yeah, it's lovely.
I still think, even though I've done it on too small a hook, that is quite a generous wing. I don't know why I did that, because that defeats the object, doesn't it? Quite a generous wingspan. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The linen that Vic chose for me are colours I wouldn't necessarily have chosen for myself, but they go together really well. Now with the linen, someone told me, and they're absolutely right, you want to hand wind these balls. So I've got these satisfying mini balls, all the same size. And the colours just really work, don't they?
Beautiful.
I can't remember what the colours are off the top of my head, so I will look them up and I will put them down below. But I'm really thrilled with how these colours are coming out, and it's going to be such a lovely, heavy shawl, perfect for, and the shape is fantastic. Let me show you on the schematic without giving the game away. So you're working along all the rows. They are quite long rows, but you're decreasing here, and that pinches it together to create this, what shape would you call that? It's like an arrowhead.
Yeah.
And the result of that means you can wear it and it won't just chuck itself off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Which is great, because with traditional triangular shawls, I just can't wear them. I'm forever losing them and whatnot. So that's a Gemma proof shawl, I think. We've got more puppy toes in the background now.
Yeah, and for anybody that wants to know, the reason that you don't wind that on a winder is because when you try to use it, from experience I will tell you, because I did it, when you try to use it, it literally twiddles into knots. It's very hard to work with if you wind it on a winder. So definitely, if you buy the linen, hand wind it, because you'll get very frustrated with it otherwise.
They're only little skeins as well. They're 50-gram hanks. Yeah. Skeins, so they don't take too long to hand wind, and they do make quite satisfyingly spherical balls as well. Some yarns, when you hand wind, you end up with wonky balls, but these are really, I'm really chuffed with them. I really enjoyed the process. I hear it. I do hear it. I'm sorry. Oh dear. Okay. Anyway, if anyone can think of the reason why I'm in charge, then let me know, because right now I don't know. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I've got a bit pink. Someone say something.
No.
Just leave you hanging there.
Oh, that's so embarrassing.
I have cast on a few days ago the second sock for a sock that I finished many months ago. It's one of the Lara's Legacy socks, which I haven't gotten very far, so I don't know how far I can actually show you, but I'm fairly sure I've done the embroidery stitch wrong again. I did all of the cuff in twisted rib because I'm sensible and actually bothered to do it. But hopefully I will have it finished soon. Hopefully.
Do you have the other sock?
The other sock is quite lonely. I don't have the other sock with me because I couldn't find it. But it was the first top-down sock I did, and it was not done well at all. So hopefully this one will be better. I have learned things in the interim in the several months, but it's hopefully going to be finished soon.
Oh, we'll
my other foot is cold.
What yarn are you using?
It's, I think, Malabrigo. It was something from Stash, like so many of my things are, but it's a sort of purple with flecks of blue. It's quite a pretty yarn. Yeah.
So a note on the Lara's Legacy sock. I'll be flashing a picture up now so you can see the finished socks, which, fun fact, the model is Roz. Roz's feet are modelling this time. Doing very beautiful poses. The Lara's Legacy socks are a project bag / midnight diary original design, and every penny of the money raised from the sale of that pattern, which you will find on my pattern store. I'll link my PayHip pattern store down below, and it's also available on Ravelry. Every penny goes towards Bliss, which is the charity for the newborn. But specifically, what I'm really excited about is the CEO at Bliss has said that anything I raise will be directed to the research appeal, because obviously the way charities work is they say this is what we're raising money for, but of course charities have a lot of different things that they need to function, and advertising and saying raise money for our printer for the charity wouldn't have the same pull, would it? So obviously the money is disseminated, but the money raised from the Lara's Legacy socks goes directly to the research appeal to fund research into neonatal medicine, fetal health, and prematurity, which are 3 issues very, very close to my heart. Obviously, it says all about it on the pattern. So, go, feel free, have a look, check it out. Yeah, I'm very excited about those. Thank you, Vic, for making them.
That's all right. It's a good pattern. So it's supporting a good cause, and you get a pair of socks out of it, which is my favourite method of doing anything.
Yeah. Now you've decided you like your other foot as well.
Yes.
That helps.
Yeah.
Hair being the
Have
we got
anything else to show?
No, I haven't got a lot this time. I must admit, I haven't really made a huge amount since the last podcast, but hopefully next time I'll have a lot more to show to you.
I don't know. I don't know about everyone else. I mean, Vic's gone the other way and is finishing all the things. Roz is motoring along with all her fantastic makes. My mojo's just abandoned me completely. I'm never one to just sit and not do anything. I've always got a needle or a hook in my hand. But for the past couple of weeks, I've barely picked it up. So what I've been doing, and I'd love to hear how you guys cope when mojo abandons you, people watching, we would love to hear your tips, because lots of people have gone through phases of that. You went through a phase recently, didn't you, Linda, where you didn't really feel like making anything, and that's not you. And not knowing what to do. So if we can share in the comments your suggestions for how you cope. One of the things I do is I used to be a teacher, and so we use quite a lot of random name picker tools to make sure we're being sort of random when asking children questions. And so what I've done is I've put all my current projects into it, and it's like a spin the wheel of fortune type thing. and I spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, I spend half an hour working on that. And then after the half an hour, I spin it again and it lands and I work on that. I don't remove the names of the projects because otherwise, if I'm having a Sunday where I'm just making things, I'll end up working on all the things and I might not want to. How about you guys? When creativity slump hits, what do you do?
I read.
I don't think I have. Sorry, what?
I was saying, have you read anything good?
I'm reading that book called Logged Off that you suggested, which is very funny. That is a very funny book. What else have I read? Do you know, off the top of my head, I can't think, but I've read quite a few books recently. I've been enjoying reading, so. But I'm back to my working with my hook again now, so that's good.
How about you, Ros?
I don't ever stop knitting, but I have lots of different things on the go. So you could be fed up with one project and think, I don't feel it, or perhaps it's not. Some need to be in daylight, some thicker things. So I just put one down and take another one up, usually, to do that. But I have had to get more in the habit of marking, not only if I've got a counter attached to the knitting, and marking on the pattern, so that if I haven't done it for a week or two, I can find my place. And that, otherwise you do spend ages thinking, where the heck was I? And then you might be put off. But yeah, some patterns just you think, I'm not feeling that one today. And then of course, as you say, I think one of you mentioned before, sometimes you get excited about one and leave all the others aside until the other one is, you really go with it to see what happens.
How about you, Vic?
I don't know. I do a lot of different things. So if I get bored of one thing, I tend to, like Linda said, to go and read something, or I don't know, paint something, or something else. Baking. I do a lot of baking if I can't make my brain work. Like, right, cake. Gonna make a cake.
Oh, I do that.
That usually talks about.
Yes.
Let's bake cake. I made a lot of cakes at the beginning of lockdown because I had that thing where you just get bored of sitting and knitting for hours and hours, and I was like, cake. I made ice cream the other day. That was quite good.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Cake. You know where I live, don't you?
Yeah. Send them around next time.
The mark of a good yarn shop is how much cake there is.
Oh yeah.
I think cake and homemade soups we're quite good for. I must admit there's less of me as a result of not being in the shop. For example, I can fit into this jumper again, which I couldn't a wee while ago. But there we go. Cake being the solution to all creative problems. I think that is a very good point to bring this to a close. So thank you very much again for spending some more time. Oh my goodness, will you just put your feet down? Spend some more time with us again. We absolutely love sitting and chatting with you all. It's been great seeing you all in the comments. Come and join us in the Facebook group. Stay warm, stay woolly. Check out the website, sign up to the newsletter, hit like, hit subscribe, and we will see you next month. Take care, stay warm and woolly. Bye.
Bye.
I thought I'd just give you a quick update, tell you how we're getting on. We're all doing well. The two boy lambs of Lady Jane are settling, and she certainly seems to be more inclined to mother both. There she is there at the back. I must admit I'm quite pleased, because otherwise I've been on 4-hourly supplementary bottle feeds, which has played hell with my sleep. Everyone else is doing fine. Just so that you know, the strange coloured dots are so that we can identify which lamb belongs to which ewe, and I use a crayon that will scour out of the fleece, because obviously that's really, really important in terms of not damaging those beautiful fleeces when it comes to processing yarn. Hi everyone, quick Sunday afternoon lambing live. This is one of those little boys of Lady Jane, who I'm supplementary bottle feeding at the moment. As you can see, he's got one hell of a hearty appetite, and so cute. Bye. Good afternoon, it's Longcroft Longwools here, or shall we call it the Lamb Adventure Playground. Here is Liam stood on the top and he is king of the castle. Oops, no, he's going to fall through the hole, that's right. So just thought I'd give you a quick update. Everything is doing well, although look at this very, very naughty lollipop with her head in the hedge. Bad girl. Naughty, naughty girl. So, had a difficult few days. Lady Jane's been really unwell with something called milk fever, but we think we've got her through it. It was a bit touch and go. Her lambs are fine, but she really was a very, very sick little lady. But I'm pleased to report that she has now improved. Good morning from Longcroft Longwools. It may be a miserable day, but nothing stops this bunch of naughty little lambs having a whale of a time. Just out, yeah, it's wet and horrible, but they're still having fun. Speak to you soon. Bye. Good afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, and I thought I'd share with you the chaos of coming in for tea. So here we go. There we are. Woo!